Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on our session, Configuring the Right Kind of App for Your Map. I'm Gemma, and I'm joined with my colleague, Rowan, and in this session today, we are hoping to achieve a couple of things. So firstly, we want to ensure that you leave feeling confident in choosing the right app when building your map. Next, we want to demonstrate how to configure some of these applications, and we'll do this using a scenario-based workflow with some additional examples. Then we'll wrap things up with a summary. So there are a few key considerations to keep in mind when you're going to build your app. You might want to think about who the audience is, what are the key features, and what is the level of general usability. So hopefully in this session, we will help guide you into making some of those wiser choices so you can save that extra bit of time down the line. Now, the ArcGIS system, as we know, can be pretty complex. So I've created a simplistic diagram and pulled out some of the core web applications. These applications can be found out of the box on your ArcGIS subscription on both online and enterprise infrastructures. There may, however, be other additional applications that you want to gain access to. In the ArcGIS marketplace, you can find Report Builder for ArcGIS. We're going to be looking at this in a bit more detail today. So where can you find these apps? There are two main ways. Through the organizational tab bar, you can access the waffle icon, or you can go directly to your map viewer. You can start to build an app on the go. All of these apps are built off the back of JavaScript 4 infrastructures. So this helps you to build more compelling web applications, integrating 2D and 3D data a lot more seamlessly, because applications like Web App Builder that are built on JavaScript 3 will be retiring. So today, we're going to focus on three main apps. We've got Instant Apps, Report Builder, and Experience Builder. Before I hand over to Rowan, I want to just highlight on two other applications that we don't have time to go into detail on today, but I want to pull out some of the key features. So you might already be familiar with StoryMaps. StoryMaps help illustrate digital storytelling through a range of narratives using different audio types, media, and text. They can be consumed dynamically on mobile and web browser, and you can build a library of stories. Alternatively, dashboards tend to use a single screen infrastructure for analyzing different data analytics. They are intuitive and interactive, and you can quickly pull out relevant information and even monitor statuses in real time. So, over to you, Rowan, to get into our scenario today and start to put this all into context.
Thanks very much, Gemma. So, to put this all in context, we're going to play the part of a nature conservation charity based in the south of England, in Cornwall specifically. We'll be carrying out rewilding, which is a wildlife conservation technique that aims to restore natural processes and missing species to the land so that nature recovers without the frequent intervention of humans. So, let me introduce to you our new fictional company, Lizard Rewild, a name that derives from the old Cornish word for the UK's most southern point, now more commonly known as the lizard. As part of this company, we'll use ArcGIS technology to identify areas with potential for rewilding, and then manage and monitor the site using other tools in the system. We'll even use some of the apps to communicate progress of the project and engage the public with nature. So as Gemma mentioned, we'll be looking in more detail at three apps in the ArcGIS system and how they can be used in our fictional scenario. They'll largely focus on that last section, helping you showcase your map to an audience in the best way possible. So with ArcGIS Instant Apps, we'll show you how to quickly put together a simple and lightweight app to share with your colleagues. Managing any area of land is a busy job, and you don't always have time to configure widgets. So we're going to show you that you don't have to sacrifice quality for speed and ease. With Report Builder for ArcGIS, we'll help you minimize your workload by easily creating a series of reports using data already in your ArcGIS organization. In this scenario, our rewilding site is naturally divided into distinct sections, and we'd like to produce a report on each of them. A core feature of Report Builder is that we only have to build one report, and the rest of them are created automatically. And finally, we'll show you some of the broad capabilities of ArcGIS Experience Builder. There are so many possibilities when creating apps with Experience Builder. You can engage the public with multiple dynamic maps, or even create an app that resembles a website. But this process can be simplified using templates, which is what we're going to do to create our app today. So let's start off with ArcGIS Instant Apps. In this scenario, I'm exploring areas which could be rewilded around the lizard, and I've compiled some important information which I'd like to share with my colleagues. All the data on this web map can be found in ArcGIS Living Atlas. This includes information about protected area designations, environmental data, and heritage features. From this information, I've created some areas here which I'm proposing to rewild, and in our fictional scenario, we're going to assume we have the permission of the landowners and the people managing the relevant protected areas. I've decided that the best way to share this map is through an instant app, as I want to share the data in a simple professional app with some useful tools, but I don't have the time to set up something in a different app builder. So, as Gemma mentioned earlier, you can quickly jump into the Instant App Creator with this button on the bottom left. We'll click Instant Apps, and it'll take us to a list of templates which we can use to create an app. Whilst we'll be using something simpler today to showcase feature layers, you can present all kinds of information and visualizations, such as image attachments, graphs, and even time-enabled data. To narrow down this huge list of options, we're going to use the wizard on the left-hand side. So we're only showcasing one or more maps with essential tools, and it's a 2D web map rather than a scene, and it doesn't contain an image service. So from this, we're going to choose Media Map, because it has all the tools we need, plus a few extra customization options. And this is what it would look like when we've started creating the app. By default, Express Mode is checked on, which helps us add in the basic features of our app as quickly as possible. We can skip step 1, as we've already chosen the map. In step 2, we'll add in the legend and fix the pop-ups to the bottom left for consistency. In step 3, which is all about interactivity, we'll turn on bookmarks and critically the layer list, which will allow our end user to turn on and off the different layers of information. And we'll add search, because it's just nice to have. In step 4, we can customize the look of our app and rearrange where the widgets are. And at this point, it's ready to publish. All the features are there. But if we have a little bit more time and want to dig into some extra customization, we can turn off Express Mode. And that's exactly what I've done with this app here that I created earlier. As you can see, I've added some extra branding in the Lizard Rewild logo in the corner, and it functions exactly as you'd expect. I can turn on the data and explore these potential sites. So, let's explore how Lizard Rewild can make use of Report Builder for ArcGIS. We've now skipped forward in time, and the rewilding project has been underway for about a year. I'd like to provide some official reports to landowners and stakeholders about how the project is going, including information with graphs and statistics, and maybe some descriptive text. However, all of the sections that we created earlier have reacted differently to the rewilding process, and to be a bit fairer, we think it's best to create 4 different reports, one for each area. I'm pleased to say that these can be generated easily using Report Builder for ArcGIS. This is my report partway through being built. Reports use one central feature layer as a source of data to structure the report. Each feature, or row of the table, generates a different report, and the data associated with that feature is used to populate the report itself. As we mentioned earlier, from the creator's perspective, we only have to build one report for one feature, and then the rest of them are generated automatically. You can bring in data in 3 different ways, from a geodatabase, from a stored feature layer, or, as we've done here, from a web map. The web map in this case is quite simple, which is why I'm not showing it to you, but there's a lot of data in the attribute table of my central layer. Whilst Report Builder is built differently from other apps that come as default in ArcGIS Enterprise and online, much of the same user experience still carries over. For example, I want to add now a bar chart to show the number of species groups or species richness in each part of the site. What we're going to do is simply drag and drop this bar chart onto the bottom of our report, and it's picked some fields or some attributes of this data set automatically for us, but we want to select these different species groups. So I'm going to go into the settings, I'm going to go into data, I'm going to deselect all of those automatically picked ones, and I'm going to select mammal, bird, reptile, amphibian, and fish species richness. And there we have it. That's our graph. The totals of these different, the total richness of each of these different species groups will change depending on the different report that we're looking at, as each of the different areas has different species assemblage. Report Builder can also be used to compare different features. So we can create a bar graph to compare the total number of species in the different parts of our rewilding project. To make our lives easier, we're going to copy this graph and paste it below the other one. We're going to change the data that's being inputted into it. So we'll deselect those fields that we picked a minute ago. And we're going to choose just the one field this time, total vertebrate species richness. Then we'll go to the settings and scroll all the way down to the bottom and toggle this option, include all areas. Then when we press OK, that's how we created our graph. This particular graph will stay the same depending on, regardless of which report that we end up looking at, but we can choose to highlight the specific bar that represents the area that the report focuses on. You'll likely have noticed just how many configuration options there are within widgets and in general in Report Builder, which all help you make the report and graphs within it to your exact specifications. The customization potential is huge. And this is the finished report. We're going to select to view one of the area reports. This one's South Green Hilly Downs. And as you can see, I've added some extra customization and then a little bit more of that Lizard Rewild branding. Each report has its own permanent link, so they can be sent individually to people or embedded in feature pop-ups in other ArcGIS applications. I'd like to now pass back to Gemma, who's going to talk about Experience Builder.
Thanks, Rowan. Now, the final part of our workflow looks at using Experience Builder as both an internal and public-facing application. Experience Builder offers flexible designs, easy-to-use widgets requiring low to no code. As I scroll through, you might already notice some new templates, such as Avatar Board and Map Flyer. I know for a lot of people, the idea of leaving Web App Builder and embarking into Experience Builder can feel quite daunting. But for any enthusiasts, you'll be pleased to see some Web App Builder classic templates now available. So I'm going to use the Launchpad to show you my first Experience Builder. And this is based for internal staff members to view the site area, be able to edit the layers, and engage to plan for any upcoming projects. You'll see that the themes I have available to me on the left, they are actually all accessible color contrasts, but you'll also see the option at the bottom to customize this. For consistency, I've brought through some of our branding colors for Lizard Rewild to style my application. So the Launchpad has the widget controller at the bottom with a single-page map-centric interface. I'm going to switch into live view so I can test out some of the functionality of my widgets. I'm going to navigate to an area of land that could be due for potential expansion. Using the elevation profile tool, I can start to sketch out an area. The elevation profile tool is based off the input path that is drawn or selected lines on a map. And you'll notice immediately I have a ground elevation profile graph meter by meter, and I can also reverse the direction dependent on the travel. For anyone using 3D in Experience Builder, you can now integrate this tool for 3D mesh layers. I'm now going to leave the simple Launchpad template and I'm now going to go into a completely different web experience in Experience Builder. What I've done here is designed an experience that has more of a website feel, so the public can engage with our site and our projects. I've used a slightly less map-centric view, and you'll see Rowan there. I've used a range of videos, text, and images. And this is just what's possible with the flexible designs of Experience Builder. So I'm going to head into our site page. Now we have 4 major sites, and the default and hover modes in the builder have allowed me to enhance interactivity when I hover over items such as these cards. Now, I've not quite finished this page yet, so I'm going to jump into my builder and add a map. You'll see I have a placeholder item below my cards, and what I'm going to use is the embed widget. So I can simply drag and drop the embed widget, and using the align drop-down, I can clip this to the full size. So you've got 3 different options to embed. So I can embed external ArcGIS applications that I've previously made. I can embed by HTML code, or I can connect to different data sources. I'm going to paste in the URL of an experience that I have previously created. It looks very similar to the one I just showed earlier, but I've limited the editing ability so that the public can safely engage with the boundary areas of the sites. So we've used 2D data here, but as I mentioned before, if you are looking to use 3D in Experience Builder, then we encourage you to explore the 3D toolbox. There is a new enhancement here, which is a tool called the Slice tool, which enables you to highlight any obstructed features in the landscape. And lastly, I just want to mention the flexible, unique layouts that are available in Experience Builder to help you optimize your experience for different mobile and screen size devices. So Experience Builder has been a great tool here to enhance my maps and apps to engage with different audiences. We did mention a few other applications that are also available, such as StoryMaps and Dashboards. And if you want to find out more about how you can present this data, then we have a story map that is available in the ArcGIS gallery that's previously been created by Rowan. So if you're interested in this topic, then please head there and find out more about rewilding projects in ArcGIS. So there are multiple ways to showcase your maps. We hope that through Lizard Rewild, we have been able to prove to you how your maps can be transformed into 3 different applications to serve different purposes. Requirements might change, so it's important to stay flexible in your approach to designing your map with the best kind of app. We hope you feel inspired today to either go and create a brand new application or check in with your existing maps and apps to see if they meet the desired needs. Thank you.